Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ogechi. This is Ogechi Reaction. Here we talk about music reaction, documentary reaction, podcast reaction, interesting topics. We do the reactions here. So do well to click on the red subscribe button, like this video if you're a new subscriber. Hi! I love to see your comments about this video in the comment section. And if you're a returning viewer, returning subscriber, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Today we have something quite interesting. Woo! Okay, today's is from Freedom Frontline. Freedom Frontline, what does it have to say? Hollywood icon shuts down Sunny Hostin after she tried to set him up. Somebody shutting someone down. Okay, this looks quite interesting. Let's get into the video. I'll give my take during the course of this video and after this video, and I would love to know what you think in the comment section. Let's just get right into it.
Prepare to see something priceless when legendary actor Billy D. Williams graced The View a couple years ago. The panel really thought they could get away with saddling his movies and statements with a modern far-left reading on the issue of race and gender, but in characteristically classic style, we saw Billy calmly dismantle the straw man being made of his words while speaking from much greater intellectual depth than the panel could see. Just take a look at this one.
I am just so honored to meet you. I will be honest, I'm just looking at Lando Calrissian in my mind, and Lady Sings the Blues and Mahogany, and just, right? That's all just incredible. So you did start, as Whippy said, in the industry at a time when few people of color were on TV and in movies, and early...
Everybody's people of color.
Yes, well, a black man.
Well, a brown-skinned man?
Brown-skinned man. And early on, you struggled to find work, being offered either stereotypical roles or nothing at all. And you write about it sending you into a depression.
I don't know about you, but that entire verbiage of black or brown-skinned man, as Sunny Hostin just said, makes me really uncomfortable. And for someone like Billy D. Williams, who's in his 80s, it's easy to see why he'd also be uncomfortable with being called a person of color. It's clear that no one at the View panel did any of their homework on him, because Billy D. Williams has often expressed dislike for being made a race-based political avatar for certain political talking points on either side. When asked about it during an interview for his latest memoir, What We Have Here, Billy just said a few days ago, and I quote, "I don't think about all that stuff. I'll let everybody else think about it. I've led a very eclectic life. I see myself as the full spectrum of colors, and when you're a painter, you'll learn a lot more about that perspective." The thing that a lot of these modern race-obsessed commentators or hosts do not get is that artists that are people of color, like Billy D. Williams, don't see themselves that way, and they don't see themselves as a victim of their circumstance or race. They're just artists that would rather be appreciated for their art instead of playing 21st century political games and culture wars that they hardly even recognize. Billy D. Williams has one of the longest career arcs of anyone in the industry, with over 6 decades of incredible work. While witnessing the evolution of America with it, he's got more than enough weight of experience to be able to make those points himself. But apparently, the View panelists didn't get the hint from Billy D. Williams, resulting in Sarah Haynes then reading into his film's modern leftist notions around gender, feminism, and, of course, their favorite term, toxic masculinity.
I think it was a movie before its time, in that it gave a lot of men everywhere permission to feel some of those things they didn't always get that. It wasn't always allowed.
I was talking about it, and somebody said, what was that phrase, the gender phrase, what do you call it?
Oh, toxic masculinity?
No.
Okay.
It's
binary fluidity, gender fluid.
Gender fluid.
Yeah.
Gender fluid.
Yeah, and my daughter got very excited about that.
Did she?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because she's a liberal.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Those damn liberals!
That's a surface-level reading that does great injustice to how deep and layered the film's Brian song truly is. Even now, over 5 decades later, its themes of friendship and facing up to mortality moves people, and yet reading into it some kind of rebellion against a modern notion of toxic masculinity leaves a really bad taste in one's mouth. Because it's a film about interracial friendship and breaking invisible barriers made when it was way ahead of its time on the issue of race as well. In one iconic scene, we see Billy D's character Gale Sayers dedicate an award to his friend and teammate, Brian Piccolo, who's battling terminal cancer.
I love Brian Piccolo, and I'd like all of you to love him too. And tonight, you hit your knees. Please ask God to love him.
It is important not to lose that deeper wisdom in diluting it with modern ideas, and in the case of your own life, the one wisdom you need from history is just how reliable, stable assets like precious metals have been in times of financial downturn. And that's the shift to a robust financial portfolio that companies like Birch Gold can help you with. So do click the link in the description or text the word FFIRA to 989898 to get started right away. Now for The View, it seems like the panel was blinded to what Billy D was really saying by taking a sophisticated point about human psychology drawn from the work of Carl Jung, or morph and mantle it into a modern reading of gender fluidity.
I was a follower of Carl Jung.
Oh, yes.
And
I dated him.
he coined the phrase anima animus.
Yes.
And anima being the female counterpart of the male self, and the animus the male counterpart of the female self.
Yeah.
Now, Carl's ideas around masculine and feminine traits in a personality have no overlap with a term as new as gender fluidity. That's because it goes much deeper into the psychology of personality, and you know what makes that clear? Just a few years ago, Billy D talked about this idea by Carl Jung in his own context as well during an interview with the Esquire magazine, saying how he can almost be referred to as both himself or herself just because of how in touch he is with his masculine and feminine sides. The media was quick to pick up on this, and very soon organizations and newspapers ran with the headline that Billy D. Williams had come out as gender fluid. This clearly put Billy on the back foot, not realizing that in 21st century America, his words would be taken very differently. He was forced to clarify what he meant several times in both writings as well as in later interviews.
I wanted to ask you, what did you think, what was your reaction to the interview you did when you talked about just being in touch with your feminine side and how that went everywhere?
Well, I know. I learned that phrase. What is it? Gender fluid?
Yeah.
But what I was really talking about, I wasn't talking about the difference between being gay or straight. I was just really talking about men getting in touch with their softer side, their female side. Anima is the female counterpart of the male self, and animus is the male counterpart of the female self. So that's really, very simply, that's all I was really talking about.
Yeah.
It's clear that there's an intellectual distance between someone like Billy D. Williams and many people today that don't have the same weight of age and experience behind them. When that happens, there's bound to be moments like this where Billy is almost left confused at how his words and ideas are twisted into a modern reading around race and gender. And it's not a good look for a panel like The View when a legendary star like Billy D has to correct them, both during the episode and afterwards. Understanding that people like him who have lived many decades through the most transformative time for both race and gender relations in the country means he's better placed to speak for himself. The surface level ideas and slogans popular in today's activism cannot do justice to the history, psychology, and the slow evaluation that someone like Billy D. Williams has witnessed himself, and perhaps he's now seen just how much disconnect there is between them after making an appearance on a show like The View.
Wow. I think that Billy D is quite an elderly man, someone who has lived for several decades, and that's why he's kind of confused why they took his statements out of context, right? He's confused. Like, he talked about gender fluidity, and then the media is running with something else, right? So I think into this age and time, when you're trying to say something, but I just think it is different for the older generation. They don't understand these things. You just have to try to be explicit enough. So now he tried to explain that what he meant was that, you know, that men should, you know, learn to be more in tune with their softer side. Of course, men have their softer side. So what do you guys think about this episode? This was quite interesting. Also, at the beginning of this conversation, while the View when the View talked about you know, the color, I mean the black and the brown, I feel like they did not do their homework. They didn't do their background check on who Billy D was before bringing that. I knew that there was something up. Anyway, this was quite interesting. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this conversation. Quite interesting if you ask me. Do well to click on the red subscribe button, like this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.